Hello, listeners. Today, I'll tell you a story about a man who thought he could get everything in life for free. He believed charm could replace effort, and shortcuts could replace hard work. But soon, he learned the most powerful lesson of all. Nothing in this world is truly free. Every dream, every smile, every choice comes with a price. The city of Riverton was a place that sparkled at night. Neon lights reflected off glass towers, and the streets buzzed with the sound of ambition. People chasing dreams, money, or maybe just a way out. Among them was Ethan Cole, a 27-year-old with a mind full of big ideas and a wallet full of nothing. Ethan had come to Riverton 2 years ago, certain he'd make it big. He wasn't lazy. He just believed deeply in shortcuts. Why work for something when the world was filled with loopholes? Nothing is really earned, he'd often tell himself. It's just taken smartly. His philosophy worked, at least for a while. He lived in a small rented room above a cafe, often sneaking free pastries when the owner wasn't looking. He used his charm to get free coffee, free rides, free drinks at parties. He had a smile that could melt suspicion. People liked him, but liking someone doesn't pay their bills. The offer. One night, as he sat in a dimly lit bar, Ethan met Marcus Vale, a man with slick hair and a sharper tongue. Marcus was the kind of guy who made money appear out of thin air. At least, that's what everyone said. Ethan was instantly drawn to him. "Ethan Cole," Marcus said, shaking his hand. "I've heard of you. You're clever. You find ways around things." Ethan smirked. "I just believe everything has a price tag, and sometimes that price is zero." Marcus laughed. "Then maybe you're the kind of man I'm looking for." That night, Marcus offered him a deal. A simple delivery job. No questions asked, no risks, and $10,000 in cash. Ethan's eyes widened. $10,000? For what? Marcus shrugged. "A package. You just drop it off at a warehouse outside town. That's all. Easy money." Ethan hesitated for half a second, then nodded. "I'm in." Because why not? Life was about grabbing opportunities, not overthinking them. The next night, Ethan found himself driving a borrowed car through the empty industrial roads of Riverton. The package sat in the passenger seat, small, wrapped neatly in brown paper, no label, no address. It felt light, harmless. At the warehouse, a man in a black coat took the box without a word. Ethan received an envelope full of crisp bills in return. No drama, no danger, just easy money. He went home feeling invincible. He spent the next week living like a king. New clothes, expensive food, and a few nights in luxury hotels. He even treated some of his friends, pretending the money came from a new freelance gig. But one morning, Ethan woke up to find his apartment door open. The place was a mess. His laptop, phone, and cash, all gone. A note was pinned to the wall. The spiral. At first, Ethan thought it was Marcus, maybe part of some warning or test. But Marcus had disappeared. His number was disconnected, his office gone. Panic set in. Over the next few weeks, strange things began happening. His bank account was frozen. His landlord demanded rent he'd already paid. His name showed up on a police list connected to an illegal transport operation. Ethan realized too late. The package he delivered wasn't just a harmless box. Desperate. He tried to contact anyone who might help, but doors closed quickly. People avoided him. The same friends who'd laughed with him now turned their faces away. Even the cafe owner, the one he used to charm for free pastries, told him coldly, "You always take, Ethan. But now, no one has anything left to give you." For the first time in years, Ethan felt hunger. Not just for food, but for something real. He spent nights on benches, thinking about how everything had unraveled. The stranger. One rainy evening, Ethan ducked under a bridge to escape the storm. There, he met an old man named Samuel, who was sitting beside a fire made from scraps of wood. Samuel looked like life had taken everything from him, and yet his eyes were kind. "You look lost," Samuel said. Ethan laughed bitterly. "You could say that. I thought I was smart. I thought I could get everything for free." Samuel poked at the fire. "Ah, the oldest illusion in the book." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean?" The old man smiled faintly. "The world runs on exchange, son. Always has, always will. You breathe air, but even that isn't free. The trees pay for it." Ethan nodded slowly. "Until the system beat me back." The old man chuckled. "It always does. It just takes its time." They shared the fire in silence for a while. Then Samuel said, "You can still fix things, you know. The debt you owe isn't just money. It's to yourself. Work, give, help. That's how you pay back the world." For the first time, Ethan felt something shift inside him. Not guilt, exactly. More like understanding. The turn. The next morning, Ethan found work at a construction site. It wasn't glamorous, and the pay was barely enough for food, but it was honest. He worked quietly, avoided shortcuts, and slowly rebuilt his life. It wasn't easy. The world had a long memory. Some people still called him a scammer. Others refused to speak to him. But he didn't argue anymore. He simply worked. Months passed. The muscles in his arms grew strong. The dark circles under his eyes faded. One evening, while walking home, he saw a young boy outside a grocery store, begging for food. Ethan hesitated, then bought him a sandwich and a bottle of water. When the boy smiled and said, "Thank you, sir," Ethan felt a warmth he hadn't felt in years. It wasn't about the money. It was about giving, freely, without expecting anything back. And that's when he truly understood what Samuel meant. The return. A year later, Ethan managed to rent a small apartment again. Nothing fancy, but it was his. He started volunteering at a shelter on weekends, often cooking meals for the homeless. One day, while cleaning tables at the shelter, a man in a black coat walked in. Ethan froze. It was Marcus Vale. Marcus smirked. "You look different, Ethan. Hard to recognize you without the arrogance." Ethan's hands clenched. "What do you want?" Marcus shrugged. "Just checking on my old friend. You disappeared." "You ruined my life," Ethan said quietly. Marcus laughed. "No, Ethan. You ruined your own life. I just gave you a shortcut. You were the one who took it." He tossed a small envelope onto the table. Inside was a single note that read, "Debt settled." Before Ethan could reply, Marcus was gone. Ethan stared at the paper for a long time, then smiled faintly. and burned it in the kitchen sink. Because he didn't need anyone's approval anymore, the only debt he cared about was the one he owed to himself. And he was finally paying it, one honest day at a time. The lesson. Years later, Ethan opened a small cafe in Riverton, the same one where he once stole pastries. He named it the Honest Cup. When customers couldn't afford to pay, he gave them food anyway, but with a small card that read, "Nothing is free. Someday, pass this kindness on." People loved the message. The cafe became known as a place of quiet generosity. One evening, as Ethan was closing up, a teenager walked in, looking nervous. "Sir," the boy said, "I don't have money, but I'm really hungry. Could I?" Ethan smiled gently and handed him a sandwich. "It's okay," he said. "Just remember, nothing is free. When you can, help someone else." The boy nodded, confused but grateful. After he left, Ethan turned off the lights and sat by the window, watching the city glow. He thought of the nights under bridges, of Samuel's words, of Marcus and that cursed envelope. Everything had come full circle. He still believed in opportunity, but he had learned the hardest truth. There's no such thing as something for nothing. Every gift has a price, every act a consequence. The trick wasn't to avoid paying, it was to choose how to pay. And for Ethan Cole, the price of wisdom had been everything he once had, but it was worth it, because now, for the first time in his life, he was truly free. Moral: nothing is free in this world. You either pay with money, time, or your soul, but you always pay.